and I'm debating on when to jump into ClickFunnels because I really don't want to pay the monthly until I'm ready to pay the monthly.
Gotcha. Okay.
And have things to lead them to.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense. In fact, you could probably test without ClickFunnels. I mean, you can put pages up and test things without ClickFunnels.
Well, my problem is designing the page. I'm not sure what I would design it in.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I've got Adobe Muse, and I thought, well, maybe I'll play around with that until I can throw one in, but it was not going to work for that.
Okay.
At least with my skill set.
Gotcha. Yeah. You know, with landing pages too, you don't have to have like the full-blown website. You don't have to do it. You could do a standalone site in Muse. Probably be a lot easier because you don't have to deal with all the navigation and everything. Mm-hmm. And just build it as though it's going to be a mobile page, because you need it to be mobile friendly anyway.
Right.
So if you built it to a mobile standard, you know, it'll display just fine on a desktop as well. But if you build it to a mobile standard, it might be a little easier for you to test and play with. And all you really have to have as far as navigation on the landing page, if you're going to do any kind of paid ads, you have to have your terms of service in there. You just put those links down at the bottom, you should be in good shape.
Okay, well, I will. I might play around with that a little bit more. Yeah. But what I did on Gay's recommendation actually was just roughing it out on paper. So I actually wrote notes one day when our internet was out. I'm like, oh, okay. So
yeah, I actually do that a lot. I will like sit in my rocking chair and just make notes on when I'm brainstorming for copy and stuff. I don't always do that on the computer.
Well, I think I should do it more often because I went from the quote that I was working on before, the unfair advantage quote. And I was messing with that, trying to figure out how to make that work as a headline, and then following up with it. And I got a little bit of an idea of what might work for that, but nothing actually fleshed out with that. So what did come out of that was hate throwing money to the Google gods. And just hoping for a return on investment. And then you don't know who to trust. Google sales team's there to sell Google services, not to help you grow your business. So I'm trying to tag on that personal side a little bit. And then looking for proven systems that give you the unfair advantage, and then jump into a little bit of that.
Okay.
So then I did the why you should listen to us, and then a claim-proof benefit I kind of threw in that.
Okay.
And so I've got one claim-proof benefit. I'm thinking, according to your outline, we need more.
Well, the claim-proof benefit, let me just kind of frame that for when you need that and why you need that. The claim-proof benefit is to establish a belief. So if you come to a point where okay, my customer has to have these particular beliefs, that's where you need to establish those or change those beliefs. So that's where the claim-proof benefit, that's like the proper use of the claim-proof benefit. It's to establish a belief that the customer needs to be able to make the purchase.
Okay.
So like an example of that might be, they might not believe they can do it, or they might believe they can't do it. And that belief will come from what they're hearing and seeing and feeling from the marketplace. Like in our case, I'll give you a perfect example of the seminar junkie. The seminar junkie is buying everything, they're going to all these things, they're spending a ton of money and none of it's coming home.
Right.
So they may have the belief that, okay, they just can't do it. Another thing that they're hearing is people are telling them they can't do it. Like they may have a spouse saying, my God, what did you spend now? Or what have you done now? Because every time they come home, hey, I bought this $1,000 or $2,000 or $5,000 thing, and it's going to, this is the thing that's going to do it. and then it doesn't. And then, you know, the next time they do it, the spouse is like, really? You did it again? You did it again? You did it again? So when I say, what are they hearing? It's not just from the market, it's from people around them. It's from their, you know, their spouse, their business partners, their employees, all of that stuff. So that's going to form beliefs in them that, well, you know, maybe I can't do this. So if that's the case and that's the belief, you need to change it. Otherwise, they have no reason to purchase your product. So you have to change that to, hey, I can do it. The reason I was having problems was this and this and this, and the thing that's going to actually deliver the result, that's the unique mechanism. That's what it is about yours that is what's going to be different this time, is just that. It's that unique mechanism. This is the thing that I didn't have before that's the key to me getting what I want. So that's kind of the sequence in the way that would go. Another thing too is we talk a lot about reticular activation of things that where they're unaware. You know, like they might be unaware of how big the problem really is. Or maybe they're just seeing the front end problems and they're not seeing the big underlying problem. Like for business owners, the fact that they're spending money and they're not getting a return on it, that tells you there's a problem. Where the problem actually lies there, the actual problem is they don't have a sales process that is built to take cold traffic and turn it into leads and sales. That's the bigger underlying problem. So if you want to poke at that with pain, you can just bring it out in the open. You can say, this is really your problem. Your problem is not your pay-per-click ads. Your problem is not that you don't have traffic because you're buying traffic. You know, the problem is not that you don't have a market. You know, you probably do have a market. And the problem here is that you don't have a process to take cold traffic that you're buying and convert it into leads and sales. You know, that's your sales process. That's your problem. Now, to create that sales process by way of a marketing campaign, that's the answer to the problem. That's the unique mechanism. So that's what they're missing. That's the thing that's going to deliver the result for them. You know, a marketing campaign that actually takes a cold prospect and educates them, creates demand and desire, and makes them want to purchase the product. So you just become an order taker. That's kind of that's what you want to bring across, is what they're going to get. You know, so when you three-dimensionalize the benefit of that, you know, it looks like, you know, when they hear it, you're going to be saying, you know, this is going to give you a sales process that will convert cold traffic into sales. So then they have to see it. You know, this is what it would look like, is every morning, you know, you'd open up your mailbox and you'd see that you had 3 sales from the time you went to sleep. That's what it looks like. And they know what that looks like. They know what opening their mailbox and seeing an order and how excited they get. So that's where you see it. And then the feeling it part is, imagine what you're going to feel like, you know, when you actually have a system where you can convert cold traffic into sales. That's going to solve your problems. Imagine how that's going to feel when you don't have to worry, you know, am I going to get a sale today? You don't have to worry if you're going to be able to pay your bills. You're not going to have to worry if you can take your spouse on a vacation, because it's no problem. You have a process, you have a system that's going to take cold traffic that you know you can purchase because you're purchasing it already, but the difference is it's going to convert to sales. You're going to have a profitable machine. So that's the hear it, see it, feel it of the outcome of that. So, you know, and you can also, you can flip the coin on that benefit. You know, we just three-dimensionalize the benefit. you could also flip the coin and three-dimensionalize the pain. You can turn that whole thing around into, imagine what's going to happen if you don't do this. Imagine what your outcome is going to be. Something's going to happen. Either there's two things that are going to happen. Either you're not going to do this and you're going to continue going on the way you're going, and you know what that's going to look like. If you're inching back and you're losing, so much money per month right now, what's that going to look like in a year? It's just whatever today is times 12. So can you afford to be 12 times deeper in the hole than you are today? Because if you don't make a change, that's where you're going to be. The math tells us where you're going to land in 12 months. So the other thing is, you can decide to make a change. You can decide to change that. If you decide not to change, here's what it's going to cost you. And then it no longer becomes about what's the cost of the thing. They don't care what the thing costs. They know what it's going to cost if they don't do it. So that's a really powerful play on, on the objection of, well, what's the price? What's it going to cost me? It's not going to cost you anything. It's what's it going to cost. A more important question is, what's it going to cost you to not do it? The cost of no change. That's the thing they can see. They're already seeing it, feeling it.
Cost of no change. I like that.
Yeah. There's a far higher price to not changing. And I love the way Tim Johnson, he comes across with, when he's talking to a prospect, he'll ask them a question. He'll say, what's the most important thing to you? He said, what do you think is going to get you the most benefit? Or no, he poses it as, what's the most important thing in your business? Making more money, having more time, or change? And, a lot of people, they don't know how to answer that. And the answer is change. Because if you don't change, you're not going to get any more money and you're not going to get any more time.
That's true.
So he said, that's the most important thing to focus on in your business. It's not focused on making more money. It's not focused on getting more time. It's focused on change. Because if you don't change, you're not going to get either one.
Yeah, that's good.
So it's that focus on change. You need to align your product with that change. That change, also could be a unique mechanism. This is the thing that's going to change, so it will actually do the work for you. You never want to talk about a unique mechanism as being any kind of work. Like you don't want to come across as, if you do the work, then you'll get the change. You want the thing to do the work. So
even though they have to do a little bit of work to get the change to work.
Yeah, but you don't
get
want
the item to work it. Yeah.
You don't want to focus on that. You want to focus on the thing, doing the heavy lifting for them.
Okay, well, I will flesh this out a little bit more and see if I can create something in Muse.
Okay.
And if not, I might go ahead and do the basic ClickFunnels thing and try that.
Okay. But yeah, with ClickFunnels, make sure you're ready to go. I mean,
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
ClickFunnels is pretty easy to set up, but you need your autoresponder ready to go. You need your traffic source ready to go. You need your retargeting pixels ready to go. You basically want to have everything lined up. So you could literally just go down a document, copy and paste, and boom, you can have a ClickFunnels set up same day if you've got all that stuff sitting there ready for you.
Autoresponder, traffic sources,
retargeting pixel, because if you're going to send traffic, you definitely want to retarget it for sure.
Right. Okay.
So if you need your ad roll codes, if you need Steelhouse codes, if you need Facebook pixels, whatever whatever you are going to use to track, you want all that set up. If you want any kind of analytics, make sure you have your analytics codes. Do all that work ahead of time if you want to really optimize your ClickFunnels spend.
Okay, that's good.
So just, because what you're going to do, once you buy ClickFunnels, you're going to get in and you're going to see, okay, well, I need that. And by the time you're kind of hemming and hawing and going back and forth, you're going to spend a week collecting all that stuff. So
more.
Yeah. So make sure, you got your landing page, you've got your analytics, you've got your retargeting pixels, everything is like there ready to go. So, I think you were muted out there.
Yes, I was. Gracie came in, so I was muted myself and talked to her briefly.
Okay.
So, okay, I got it.
Mommy.
I think I will keep working on that, and I'm slowly moving forward. But I kind of feel like I got stuck in the whole creation side now.
Okay, yeah, well, I mean, for sure, wherever you're stuck, hop in here and, we'll look at where you're at and see if I can help you get past it. Hopefully that was helpful with
yeah, I think it was. And I actually, quiet, please. I was actually targeting some of that same idea of done for you and, Gracelyn, quiet. Done for you and, the idea of how much it's costing you not to do it.
Yeah, that's.
So I actually hit on those two already. So
yeah, that's.
So I'll just keep fleshing it out and see what I can do.
Yeah, Tim Johnson, he's the one that did sales training for us. Him and a new copywriter that we're working with, Emerson Bradley. Emerson's been around for a long time. He's done a lot of infomercial copy and done a lot of successful sales processes with copy, both on and offline. And he really likes to focus on the pain as well. So the pain and the idea of what it's going to cost you to not do this. And really, another thing too, Eric Laughlin, who's a sales trainer and teaches sales copy and things, scripting, he actually used the whole Obamacare as a prime example of how to get a sale done when there's indecision. And it was like the whole Obamacare bill got passed through at the point where it was denied. And, it was sitting on the table, it was denied, and the way they got it to pass through was somebody, a salesperson, came up with the idea of asking the question, well, if we don't do this, what are we going to do? And if they don't have an answer for what they want to do, and they realize, hey, that's the only choice on the table, then a lot of times they'll go for it. If they don't have a better idea, then they'll take the one at hand. So sometimes that is a really good thing to throw out of, you need to do this. It's going to require change on your part. And, since you're going to have to change, that might be a belief that you might instill without change. If you can come up with claim-proof benefit for you're going to have to change to make a difference, that would be a great use of installing a belief that they have to change. And then tie that into your product or your service of that's the right change to make. And you can kind of preface that with, since we're all in agreement now that you're going to have to change, if you decide not to do this, what are you going to do? What's going to be better than this? That might not be the best question, because that might put them on a track to look for what's better than this. But, just the whole thing of, you have laid at your feet a very viable solution for your problem. And if you're not going to do that, what are you going to do? Because that implies they're not going to do anything.
Right.
That implies they're not going to change. That implies there's going to be a huge disaster on the other side of this of what it's going to cost them to not move forward.
Another thing would be, how long have they been putting this off because they didn't have a solution on hand.
Yeah, that's a great point. That brings up the whole thing of what's this cost you so far? What has your ability, or what has your resistance to change cost you already at this point? That's a great point to bring up. Because once you establish that, you can say, and you can use the time frame, you can say, over the last year, what has this cost you? And then you can say, if it's a long-term problem, you can use a year. And then you can say, well, what's this gonna look like 5 years from now? It's gonna be 5 times that cost. That's what it will have cost you 5 years from now. If you don't go out of business, and that's gonna be a whole lot of other costs too. That's a cost not of money, that's a cost of ego. That's a cost of really being down. Because you look at employees, at spouses, at family members, at friends, you don't want them to see you as a failure. There's a huge cost associated with that personally, not, outside the whole monetary cost. So that might be what's the cost at the ultimate end of the rainbow. How long can you afford to not do this before you go out of business, and then you become, in the eyes of everyone that you love, and love and trust, you're going to be a failure. That's a pretty high cost.
That's a huge pain point.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So it's not always just about money.
But another thing that occurs to me so the question would be, if you keep putting it off because you're unsure that you have the optimal solution for whatever reason, anything other than, I guess how much it costs. So the question would be, what would it cost to just get started and check this out and track month by month for 3 months how you're getting yourself out of the hole on this thing? I mean, if you think about it, that I've been putting this off for years, and now I'm at least going to take 3 months and say, it looks good. How about if I give it a try? What would be the cost of doing something like that? And then the next thing would be, how much would somebody have to make in order to make them say, wow, I really should have been doing this all along, and I'm just getting started, right? And I mean, if this is the results after 3 months, good grief, after a year, look what I could be looking at, right?
Yeah, that's like a future pacing. I really like that. I like the idea of what that is Frank Kern had mentioned that in Mass Control. He said, when you set the expectation of it's going to do so much, one of the things that they're going to think in their mind is, wow, if I could only do 1/10 of that, I would be in good shape. This would be totally worth it. So a question might be, what if this only made you 1 sale per month? That's a pretty reasonable expectation. Would it be worth the price? Would it be worth the effort? What if it only got you 1 client, 1 new client a month, and you knew your lifetime value on that customer was $5,000? What if it just got you 1 of those per month? Would it be worth it? And their answer is yes. And they tied the outcome to the thing, which is what you want to do. You want to tie the outcome to the thing, and that's what's going to create demand and desire for it. So that I love that. I love that you brought that up, Mary. See, that was a great point. Awesome.
Good. So in reality, what are those numbers, Gwen? Can you have somebody say that's a no-brainer to take a chance on that?
Well, it would depend on their business. Because what I'm looking at selling is actually John's services of the SEO and the actual strategy and marketing plan. And so it kind of depends on their services or what they're selling. But I know for us, one client a month would be great.
Yeah. Yeah, if you could just get one client a month. But I think also it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter what they're selling. But you should be targeting customers that when they make a sale, when they add a customer, whatever it may be that they're selling, that there's a big enough lifetime value to it that it's worth it. It makes a difference for them. Like, you wouldn't be pitching this to somebody that sold gumballs retail one at a time. You know, you'd be pitching this to, you know, a manufacturer of gumballs, you know, that's looking for distributors. You know, what would it be like if you could just get one new distributor, you know, per month or even per year? You know, like I have guys that do water parks. They look at it as, if my service brings them one new customer per decade, they're profitable. So it's like, you know, what are the odds of me being able to bring them one customer per decade? It's pretty good. You know, that's not really a huge gamble. So the less or the more you can make it a no-brainer and the less gamble, the more you're going to have opportunity to sell. It's going to increase your close ratios, increase that conversion dramatically.
I think the sigh of relief for somebody that's been putting it off for an extended period of time, and we're usually talking more than a year, right? Like year after year, because I don't know how to get started. The one-on-one hand holding that just says, you absolutely will get you there because I will help you get there, right, is amazing. It's immense, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because I know, I mean, how many programs and how many products and programs have you bought over the years where, you know, you buy it and you get home and that's it, you're on your own. You either ask for a refund or you put it on the shelf and it doesn't really do anything because there's nobody there to help you. You know, I know I've bought a fair number of those.
There's a whole backlog of them, right?
Yeah. So
that I thought, do I cut this guy off of my email list? And I look and see what program I bought, and I thought, phooey with it. It's worth it having it out of my email list. You know, I just, because I'll never go back. And most of the people want at least, you know, some kind of a monthly or an annual renewal. And if you haven't done anything with it so far, chances of saying that you're going to do it are, you know, it's great that you're not going to do that. So honestly, the value of hand holding is amazing when, you know.
Yeah, like for me, the way I've positioned this particular service, you know, this is the support system for ACT and the SEO Dominator community and everything. And people absolutely love the ability to be with me personally once a week for under $30 a month. You know, for on the low end, they can get the support system for like $30 a month. And, you know, I have been here since 2008 doing these calls. You know, now they're even video. You can actually see me. So that's a huge benefit, and that's something different and unique that no one else is doing. You know, you don't see other gurus doing these kind of, you know, this kind of support, not for that price. So that's a huge benefit.
That's part of what made our decision to jump on with you back in 2009. I think it was early 2009 we jumped on.
Yeah.
And it was partly because of your weekly calls.
Yeah. Well, you know, Ryan Dice, when I did the Rank Mogul thing with him, he said, you know, we're only going to do 4 calls. You know, that was all his whole intent was, we're going to make this thing, we're going to do 4 calls, and that's it. That's the end of the rainbow. And I said, well, you know, if you don't mind, I'd like to continue the calls on my own with anyone that wants that ongoing support. And he told me I was crazy. He said, why would you want to do that? He goes, I'd never do that. I'd never do, ask you to do that. He says, I like you too much. I said, well, I'm not about a one-hit thing. I'm not just here for the quick buck. I'm here today, and I'll be here tomorrow, and I'll be here the next day.
And when you're ready to sell, they'll be ready to buy if they're on the calls, right?
Yeah, whatever, because if you look at, lifetime value of my customers, everybody comes back for everything. Once they get in here, when they need a new hosting account, they come back. When they need a website developed, they come back. When they need whatever they need, they keep coming back. So, and I realized early on, I don't have to do all that stuff as long as I can provide good resources for everybody and, keep everybody with what they need. That's what I'm here for. So that's a unique mechanism, is our support system. It's the support system that helps deliver the results, because once you get home, what's going to happen. The same thing that happened last time. It's like, what's the most important thing? More money, more time, or change? It's the change. So this is what's going to effectively help in that change for anybody that wants it. So it's shocking. It's shocking how many products get sold that never get used. Perry calls it breakage. He said there's more money in the breakage than in anything. And when I first heard him say that, I'm like, I don't know, what's that mean? How do you make money in breakage? Usually that costs you money. And he said, no, in digital world, breakages is just they don't use it. So he was right. I got to tell you, he was right on that one. So, all right. Well, anything else before we wrap up for today?
I think I'm good. I'm just going to keep working on fleshing this out and see if I can build something.
Okay. Awesome. You know what might help too? I'm working on some copy with Emerson, and I'm going to throw my ideas at him and see what he comes back with. And then once I get that, I'll share that with you, and that might help you.
That would be appreciated.
Because really, it doesn't matter who comes up with it. If you come up with it, I come up with it. Whoever comes up with a good one that will take cold traffic and turn it in first, that's all we care about.
Right.
So that's our goal. And Mary Sue, I wanted to ask you too before we cut out. I got a card of one of the vendors that's doing private label, different nutraceuticals and pharmaceuticals and all that. I didn't know if you're interested in that at all, or if you got that all handled.
Yeah, for the most part, we do our stuff. We don't private label, but simply because,
okay,
a lot of the times private label is kind of generic,
Yeah. I think the one that I got, I'll have to look at the card, but I think they actually will do formulas and stuff for people, custom stuff.
So that's why. So one of the things that I've decided to do is I think I'm going to find another contract manufacturer, simply because I need somebody that does some different stuff that the one I've got doesn't provide. And then the other thing is I just don't, now he's up to like, it takes 2 months to get something done.
Okay.
Because I've taken on some clients that are doing Amazon. And I just feel like, good grief, how much farther to the end of the line do I need to go?
Yeah.
So I need somebody that can, he's got the import license for our thyroid. So I can't, I have to stay where I am, and I like them. It's just that, that it's just nutsy making to say it's going to take how long to get a reorder.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but I'm willing to work it. So, and I'm looking at fulfillment companies too. I really need to find a fulfillment company.
Oh, I wish I would have known that, because there was like 3 or 4 of those at the conference too.
Yeah, so my accountant says I'm better off getting somebody in California, because if you go to a different state, then you create nexus someplace else, right? And then one of the things she looked at, because I gave her a couple of people that I was looking at, and the interesting thing that happens with that is you when you read the fine print, I mean, it sounds really good up front where they tell you what they're going to do and how they're going to do it. And then you find that the state has created some kind of a tax structure behind, so that you're paying huge amounts of tax fees just because of the way the state has structured the thing.
Huh.
So,
Okay.
now I just...
Yeah. From what I understood, you had to collect tax in whatever states you house inventory.
Yes.
Whether it's shipped from that state or not.
Yeah. And Amazon really creates a wacky thing. You really have to get somebody to do it for you if you do Amazon. But it's just a good example, because your product is in different states, and then they might ship it around to somebody else to ship it. And it's a lot of, crazy stuff.
Huh.
But I just want to, I mean, I may have to give up and say, well, we'll just get somebody else in our warehouse, but I would love to have a fulfillment center, so I don't have to have anything to do with it.
Yeah, that would be great for you for scaling too. When you scale up, that would be, a major headache off your shoulders.
Absolutely. That's what I'm looking for. So hopefully within the next maybe 2 months, I don't know. I want to do something.
Okay. Also, while we're on, let's just kind of do a quick status update on your funnel. Where are we at? Did we abandon the last one? Do we need to start over? Or I want to make sure you don't get stalled out and stuck.
Well, I'm waiting for I'm waiting to hear back from my guy in China for my I still like the idea of the book and the thermometer. I really like that.
Yeah, that is, I think that's a really good.
But I just need to the thermometers that I think so too. I think it's something to really hang our hat on and do a lot of marketing for. The thermometers that he sent, I really like everything about them, but the problem is if you take your temp in a sequence, so like you take your temp and you wait a minute and you take it again, they weren't consistent. I mean, like they really weren't consistent.
Oh, so
the question is which one is the most accurate?
Yeah,
and who like that.
Yeah, because that whole process that we were talking about, that we were coming up with, that would require a little bit of accuracy.
Yeah, it's just a tad of accuracy. So I can't get the two place thermometer. It had everything else, and the price was really good. So I thought, okay, if I just give up on the 2 places, and if I could just get this rolling, then I could probably go find somebody to do a custom one if I wanted to. But I just want to get something to get the ball rolling.
Yeah.
So New Year got in the way, and honestly, I swear those people celebrate New Year's for how many months? I mean, it's just so bizarre. We're closing down, getting ready for it, and now we're slowly getting back in gear. And I mean, it's just
yeah.
But I really like that idea. So I'm on it. I'm looking for. I decided to look for a writer to help me get this done, because honestly, I'm just never going to get everything done if I don't get some help. So I've been doing that, and that's the goal, is to get that done. And I found a webmaster, and I sent her the pixels for Steelhouse.
Okay.
and then I couldn't log in to AdRoll, so I called Frank this morning and got that set up. So I need to get the AdRoll pixels on there. So I can't upload my database until I get the pixel on there.
Gotcha.
So as soon as I get the pixel on there, I can do that. So I'm not, so clearly it's not exactly the same as having the pixel, but my feeling is most of those people have already converted, and so it's a good starting place. And then if he's just creating a lookalike audience for me, so that I can start getting out there, because that's the goal.
Yeah.
And I've been looking. So we have a new distributor in the Netherlands, and so I want to use. So I asking, if I have distributors that I have in the UK and the EU, can we create some kind of a lookalike so I can find distributors over there? Because honestly, I'd rather take on distributors. This guy wants a 4-country exclusive, and I don't have a problem with that if he buys enough, because I don't speak German. So he wants Germany, the Netherlands, Austria, and something else. So all of those, that's absolutely fine. Germany converts well. I don't even mind driving traffic to him if it means that he will buy more,
Sure.
And I do know, so we had a distributor in Sweden that bought a lot, and the Swedish people really, really want our products. The problem was we had difficulty importing the stuff. So they are actually willing to import into the Netherlands, which seems like it's going to go slick as a whistle. And if I found somebody in Sweden or any place else that wanted them to ship for me, I could do that.
Yeah.
Okay. Because they are willing to do it. Or we've got a friend over there that could do it for us as well. And so that's a huge game changer for us to be able to import easily. Because before, that was in the UK, that was just a pain in the neck. And we have to be ready for the Brexit stuff, right?
Yeah.
Because that's going to, if everything was created around the UK, come Brexit, we're going to have a problem, So, but that really is hugely encouraging for me. I just need to figure out how to get these the pixels and the database and stuff like that. It's a huge thing for us to be able to have wholesale distributors for this stuff. So we have a lot of small healthcare practitioners, but I want people that buy hundreds of bottles at a time, right?
Yeah, sure.
And we shipped to iHerb for years, and then it became apparent that it is not a good idea to sell to people that compete with you online, right? So
yeah,
our own customers, the ones that were bought from iHerb anyway, what they ended up doing is, because they got free shipping, they would order our product through iHerb. And now we're selling to our customers that have been with us for years for wholesale products prices, essentially,
Yeah.
So, we just needed to rethink about that. But I want somebody that buys, 500 or 1,000 bottles at a time. And because we've had distributors that are in that category, I need to figure out how to search and find those, and get them going. And the sooner the better. So I'm not quite sure how to do it, but at least in uploading our database, or so he's going to order every month, right? So the goal is he is going to order like 500 bottles a month or so.
Yeah.
So if AdRoll doesn't catch him this time around, they'll catch him in the next order, right? And then he'll also be in our database to upload. So the question is, how can I find these people, right?
Yeah, you might want to do a little keyword research on that. You don't need a lot of searches to make those worthwhile. You know, that's like hunting the big fish. There's not a lot of the big fish, but you have to hunt them to figure out where they are. So keyword research might give you an insight into that. Some of the analytics data inside the Facebook audiences might give you that. But I think the one that might give you a better shot is actually LinkedIn. If you could figure out what the position is of that buyer for that distributor, that might be your best bet, is to target them through LinkedIn.
Yeah, well, they were mostly, I think, owners or principals in some way of the companies, the people that have already bought from us that are in that position. I know that.
Yeah.
So it's not just a buyer. The question is, how did they find us? You know, and sometimes people don't even know how they found us. Like they keep searching and searching. You know, and so by the time you find somebody, if you've done that, you might not know how it happened.
Yeah.
But
you want the ability to bring new ones in. So
absolutely, and that's one of my biggest goals right now. Okay.
So either figuring out what they call themselves as far as a job description on LinkedIn, that would be a really key component to know. Okay. And also, you know, what terms they actually search for. Both of those things could give you a lot of insight into how to really find them and target them online.
So this last guy, well, it's interesting. This last guy, I think he just searched for thyroid or thyroid. I mean, his goal, he wanted us to do private labeling. That's not going to happen. Been there, done that. That one is not going to happen again.
Yeah.
But they're all looking for somebody that does wholesale. So some companies do wholesale and some of them don't. The smaller ones, probably, and the newer ones, they don't do. Maybe there's not that many out there. I didn't think about that before, but maybe there's not that many that do wholesale.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, in prospects for that, you don't really need a lot. You know, you're not looking for, you know, thousands of them. You're looking for a handful of them.
I'm willing to start with a handful.
Yeah. Yeah. Those big fish, you can eat long time on those big fish.
Absolutely, especially when they buy, you know, monthly.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know.
So that, you know, that might be an adjustment for you of realigning with who is your ideal client. You know, what's your most profitable segment? If you want to turn that into, you know, your profitable segment for a campaign would be those distributors, and then your ideal client, and then just kind of working right through the system, figuring out what's important to them, what's their desired outcome, you know, what's their timeline, and then we figure out where they are and we bring that ad campaign to them. I think that could be very successful for you.
So here's something really excuse me, really unique that we learned from this last one. Well, the interesting thing was we didn't even know that it was going to be easy to ship into the Netherlands. Had no clue. We had talked to somebody that was going to sell our products, and they decided probably he couldn't import it. He was in the Netherlands, right? So now he can't do that. And we're with the non-compete, we can't sell to him anyway. But he wanted it shipped DHL, and I have to tell you, that was such a hassle. But once we got it done, I understood the value of doing that, because we shipped on his account, and then they set up an account for us, and once we finally got the thing going, He actually had the product in like 3 or 4 days, slick as a whistle through customs. And that was one of the reasons why we stopped shipping to Sweden, was because we had to ship it into the UK because we couldn't ship directly into Sweden, and then we shipped to Sweden from there. And it was such a long process, and now you're going through customs with 2 different countries, neither of which want to be helpful, right?
Yeah.
And it was such a hassle. So if we can set this up so that we actually know what we're doing, and we've got a system that is very quick and easy, then it's awesome, right? I mean, we learned so much from this, but it was such a hassle getting there and learning it. But wow, to ship that easily into the Netherlands, I mean, we would never have known, because when you try to go and look and see what countries allow the import of thyroid, it's always hard to tell, and they want it done in a certain way, and they will kick you out if it's not done right, or confiscate your goods, or just all kinds of crazy, awful things can happen. But to have that knowledge now that we can, ship to the Netherlands, we're off and running, because then we can pick up other distributors in the EU, and that would just be awesome for us, So that's what we're looking for. So I need to figure out by pixels, by ads. I don't know. Are these people on LinkedIn? Don't know. I don't know how to find them, but I'm absolutely determined to get 3, 10 to start with.
I think they're definitely going to be on LinkedIn for sure. And they're probably also going to be searching in smaller search volumes, and that's okay. Small search volume is just fine when you're just hunting a big fish like that.
Absolutely.
So I think, your 2 key things there is to kind of do a little research into what those job positions are inside of LinkedIn.
Right.
And then also what those keywords are, maybe some keyword research based around volume, wholesale volume type keywords for those items.
Okay. So what do you know about LinkedIn? Anything?
LinkedIn, it's, it really comes down to, they've got an ad platform in there, and it's the same thing. You're able to go in and target by different criteria. You can target by number of employees. You can target by job title. You can target by, proximity, where they live, all that kind of stuff. So, same thing really as all the rest of them. You need to figure out who you're looking for, pin it down, make an audience, and then run an ad to them.
Awesome.
So your big thing, like, go into LinkedIn. I haven't done this myself in LinkedIn, but I know they've got the ad platform. So I am under a pretty heavy assumption, based on what I've heard from others that have worked in LinkedIn, that you can do the targeting very similar to Facebook, like the audiences.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, so get in there and see if you can build an audience that makes sense.
So here's a problem with, and I don't know how to figure it out, but we have people from LinkedIn that will send us an email that comes into our CRM, and it says, "Oh, we want to link up with you," and there is no way in the world to do that from our CRM. We can't do it from. I have no idea how to do it, but they send it to Nutrimeds in your website, and I need to figure out a way so that we can so they're sending it to a person, right? And I don't know why.
Any of those, when you get one of those, all you have to do is go into your LinkedIn account, and then there's a thing called, it's either contacts or but basically there's a link in there that will show all the people that are trying to connect to you, and you can go in and you can authorize them. You can make the connection.
Will I see them if they send it to the NutriMeds
Yes.
in our CRM? Or
Yeah, if it,
because I get people trying to contact me.
Yeah, if it's a legitimate request, it will be in LinkedIn. If it's just a spam,
well,
then
I know who the people are, so I know they're legitimate. I just don't know how to get in touch with them.
yeah. If they've made a legitimate LinkedIn request that gets emailed to you, or it might, in this case, it might be going into your CRM. You can get access to that by logging into LinkedIn, and then there's it's notifications, I think. If you go onto your LinkedIn notifications, it will show all the people that are requesting to connect with you. And then you can just...
Am I better off like creating a NutriMeds account on LinkedIn? I don't know if I do. I don't know how I'm signed up.
Well, with LinkedIn, you can't really create a company profile. You can create a person profile. LinkedIn's about people.
So that's the problem, is they're sending it to our NutriMeds account into our CRM, not to a person, and I don't know how that's happening.
Okay, well, it might be spam.
No, because one of them is a healthcare practitioner, and she does have a rather large business and a large following, and she has bought from us before, and she just wants to connect with us on LinkedIn.
Okay.
But she's absolutely a real person.
Well, there's a couple ways to do that. You could either respond back to them with your LinkedIn profile.
Okay.
Or you could go to LinkedIn and you could just run a search and connect to them. Or if they've made a legitimate request to connect to you, you just go into your notifications and accept it.
Okay. So, I'll have to take a look at LinkedIn and figure that out. But that's good. So people all over the world join LinkedIn, huh?
Oh, yeah. LinkedIn is a massive, and it's people too. It's not companies. It's just every LinkedIn profile is a person. So the deal with that is every person, basically what they're doing, they're using it almost like a resume. So they'll put their title, they've put who they work for, what companies they've worked for in the past, what their experiences are. So if you go in there, you could connect to people that have experience, in that industry and the wholesale side of it, and just send a request to them and say, hey, here's who I am, here's what I'm looking to do. Do you know of anybody? Do you have any LinkedIn contacts that you could connect me with to get distribution of my product?
So I stopped replying to most of the people that send me a LinkedIn request, simply because what I found is it's sort of like if you open a new merchant account, everybody and their brother wants to be in. You open a new business and they want to sell you a merchant account, or they want to, so everybody is coming that wants to market something to me that is very simplistic. Okay. It has nothing to do with, want to talk to me or want to buy my products. They just want to sell me something. And it just got to be, so I try to look at some of them, but I have to say, it has not been for me what I would consider a good resource. But part of it probably is, I think you're right, I don't really have a presence on LinkedIn that would cause somebody, I don't know how they find me and decide that, but I need to have the kind of presence that attracts people that are looking for my products.
Exactly.
And we don't have that.
Yeah, so when you're creating your LinkedIn profile, you really need to be, specific about what you're doing and who you're for. I know a lot of people will use it, like I said, as a resume, but you want to use it more as a sales page.
Yeah.
You don't just want to talk about yourself. You want to talk about what you do and what you can do for them. And that will get you, that will attract the right people to you. Now, granted, there is a ton of spam inside of LinkedIn as well.
Yeah.
So,
but I don't want to have our retail side. I'm not particularly interested in showing our retail side on there. The people that I want to talk to on LinkedIn are really wholesale buyers.
Yeah, yeah. So that's really what you need to focus on. You know, you just need to go in there and make sure your profile represents that, and you know, put in there what you're looking for, who you're looking for, all that stuff, and ask and ye shall receive is, I guess, how you look at it.
That's a fantastic idea. I absolutely will do that. So that's hugely encouraging. So
Well, cool.
maybe that, along with our ad roll stuff, you know, will kind of get me where I need to go. Because I told Frank this morning I want to separate my database into, honestly, I want to separate it even more. Just, I mean, we've got healthcare practitioners, but some of them, you know, a lot of them only order, say, 12 bottles at a time or something. I want to separate out and get the ones that want to order in excess of 100 bottles at a time, where 100 bottles is a minimum.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in, you know, anything that's less than 100 is just really, you know, doesn't get me where I need to be going. You know? So I want somebody that wants to order 500 bottles at a time and more.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know. Some of these people, I don't know where some of them find us, frankly, but it would be nice to be able to reverse engineer some of them, to tell you the truth. So, is there a way to do that?
Well.
Oh, wait. So wait a minute. You were talking about tracking people and tracking where they've been and where they're going and where they came from.
Yeah.
Which is that?
Well, that's all either with your analytics or with retargeting.
Okay.
Like when you retarget on ad roll, when you place the pixel on and they come to your site, from there you'll be able to tell what sites they went to because your ad will have displayed to them.
Okay.
So that will tell you kind of where they're going around on the internet. Like if there's a website that they're going to, and you know, let's say you set up this thing and you're tracking these wholesalers, and you find that the vast majority of them are landing on certain sites, that would be a great site for you to run an ad on, a static ad for everybody that goes to that site.
Okay.
So that might be something to think about.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So I honestly don't even, all I really need to know is where can I run an ad that all these people are going to. That's what I'm looking for, right?
Yep. That's what you want to do. Figure that out on LinkedIn and then run it. It won't be a big audience either. You know, there's not millions of these type of people. So your ad costs should be fairly small.
Yes. Yes.
So I would say that's a no-brainer. That is an absolute no-brainer. You just need to put together, some sort of an ad campaign with a landing page, and maybe it's just as simple as you just need them to call you. You know, you don't even need a sales process. You just need them to call you or call whoever's going to set that relationship up for you.
Okay.
And then you advertise to them, bring them to that page. You target them with the repixel, and you try and get them to call. If they don't call, you follow them around with your ad until they do.
Okay, well that's hugely encouraging. I would, and it certainly can't cost. The interesting thing is that campaign doesn't sound like it would cost much at all.
No, I don't think so, and I think it would be
what it's going to give me if I honestly, even if I got one new customer, consistently.
There you go. What would it be worth if you just got one?
Absolutely. Talk about in the right place at the right time for the right person. That would be absolutely it. That would be so wonderful.
Yeah.
All right. So the place to start is LinkedIn.
Yep.
Right? And then
that's an easy campaign to make because you're really just trying to get them to get on the phone with you, and it's an inexpensive campaign, and it should be very effective.
Okay, and then the other ones will show up in my analytics on what Steelhouse and AdRoll. If they
Yeah, AdRoll is the one you want to really pay attention to, because that's going to show you what other sites that those viewers are going to.
Okay.
Steelhouse is pretty much just inside Facebook, so they can create a lookalike audience in Facebook for you.
Okay.
But AdRoll can create a lookalike audience of the world.
Okay, so Steelhouse would basically be my domestic customers.
Yeah, yeah, on Facebook, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, then that's absolutely fine. That's an easy way to even, divide it so that I know who I'm trying to appeal to. Steelhouse is domestic, and AdRoll is all over the world.
Okay?
Yep. And distributors. So, it sounds to me like I've got more control over defining my the person that I'm looking for in the EU, so the distributors. So although I might want to drive some traffic to the distributors that we sell to over there, I don't really want to sell to them. I want to have a distributor, and then I want to say, have some traffic. So, well, I mean, and for us, so on the same day that the person that we shipped to the person in the Netherlands, I got an email from somebody I think he was in Austria, but it was one of the 4 countries that they wanted. And his question is, can you ship to me in Austria? And I'm, so as soon as they get their stuff on their website, I can say, here's where you go and buy, But I'd like to have more customers like that I can drive the traffic, simply because I want to encourage them to buy more. I want to make sure that because one of the things that he brought up, which is hokey, I think, but it's like, oh, well, maybe you need to give me a bigger discount because we have to then introduce you to our customers and let them know about you. It's like, hey, guy, we've been there long before you have selling this stuff, because we already have customers in that country, So, but I just want to make sure that they now know where they can buy over there, and they don't have to ship, with the high prices that we have to charge for USPS shipping, I want to just drive some traffic to them, just so that that we ensure the relationship, so he keeps buying,
Okay.
So, alrighty, I'm going to start LinkedIn. I'm going to go do my research.
Well, both of you guys have your marching orders now, so.
Okay. Thank you so much, John.
We will check in next week and see how you did.
Alrighty. Talk to you later. Bye.
Okay.
That was good. Thank you.
Bye.
All right. We'll see you next week.